Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invests. A really interesting week for A2 Milk and its shareholders with a fair bit of volatility in the share price between October 6 and October 13. In fact, on October 6, the share price fell 7% on some news released from the company. And then we did see the share price rally on October 13 by 13%. We also saw fairly significant volume coming into trading on that day. And the rally in the share price has continued at the start of trading on October 14. Last time I looked, about 25 minutes after trading has begun, the share price was up another 6%. I'll be discussing why we have seen this volatility in the share price of A2 Milk during this video, why I'm not really concerned about the reasons why the share price fell 7% on October 7th, and also why my optimism has increased in regards to the future of A2 Milk moving forward. Looking at the trading history of A2 Milk between the October 6th and 13, 6 trading days here. On October 6th, the share price did fall 7.67% on fairly high volume. 12.8 million shares were traded. Usually when you do see the share price decrease by that amount, typically there's either some large fall in the overall market itself, or more likely there is some bad news being released by the company. So we'll have a look at that in the next few slides. And then during the next 4 trading days, we did see a little bit of volatility, but overall the share price did go down. However, the volume was decreasing along with it. So those who wanted to sell out had the opportunity over the past 5 trading days up until the 13th of October. And then all of a sudden, on the 13th of October, share price rose 78 cents from $5.80 to $6.58. That's a 13.45% increase in the price. Not only that, the volume was pretty big as well. 18.1 million shares were traded. That's 4 to 6 times as many shares traded than the previous few days. That does mean there was a little bit more interest in the market around A2 Milk, and I'll be discussing the possibilities why the share price did rally on the 13th and why it has continued to rally early on trading on the 14th of October. First thing I usually do when I see share price rise by a significant amount, or fall for that matter, is I go straight to the announcements to see if there's anything there that could justify why the share price has been volatile. On the 6th of October at 7:30 a.m., there was an announcement that was not marked market sensitive, which I think is a mistake, whoever decided that. And this announcement was the A2 Milk Company to defend class action. And straight away, we know why the share price did fall over 7% on that day. That probably did spook out some shareholders. It's not the sort of announcement that would send me running for the doors. In fact, I believe that's a fairly flaky sort of announcement. It's not really worthy of selling out of a company. I do have a sort of announcements I do look for to sell out of a company. For instance, bad financial news, or anything that would suggest the company is under some structural challenges. This has nothing to do with it. It's a short-term thing if it does come to fruition. There's also that chance nothing comes of this class action. And you'll notice after that announcement on the 6th of October, there was nothing there to suggest why the share price rallied on the 13th of October. So there must be some other reason, and we'll explore those possible other reasons during this video. This is the class action announcement released on October 6. This has been filed by Slater Gordon in the Supreme Court of Victoria. For those Slater Gordon shareholders who saw that company share price fall from massive heights, say $4 or $5, maybe even larger than that, all the way to almost negligible amounts, would find these proceedings quite funny, because even though Slater Gordon have destroyed shareholder wealth a few years ago, they're still in existence. In fact, they are looking more and more interesting. I did have a look at Slater Gordon a few weeks ago, and the share price is possibly wanting to rally, and the financials of the company aren't that bad right now, but it's just interesting that these proceedings have been filed by Slater Gordon on behalf of shareholders who bought into A2 Milk between the 19th of August 2020 and the 9th of May 2021. And those two dates are really interesting to me. And I'll talk about that when we look at the chart. So let's have a look now at that chart. This is the daily chart of A2 Milk between the time periods 19th of August and the 10th of May. If you bought during these two dates, you can take part in the class action proceedings against A2 Milk. The reasons why Slater and Gordon chose these two dates are fairly obvious, because the 19th of August was when A2 Milk released their financial year 20 results. It was also the start of a medium to long-term downtrend in the A2 Milk share price. And the 10th of May was when A2 Milk released the last trading update. Not only was it the last trading update the company has released, it also looks like it could be the end of the downtrend. And in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, there's absolutely no reason why you'd be buying into A2 Milk shares during this period, because you have a lot of indications to not buy into the companies. Now, I was a holder before this, but I saw no reason to sell out, and that was a mistake on my part. And it comes back to my opinion that all shareholders, or any shareholders who buy into a company, have to take ownership of the decision. They can't put blame if the share price decreases from when they bought in. They can't put blame in anyone else except themselves, because you have indications right here, looking at this chart, not to buy into A2 Milk during this period between the 19th of August and the 10th of May. One of my main mantras as an investor is taking ownership of all my investing decisions. And the reason I want to do that is if I make mistakes, I want to take ownership of that. I want to see why I've made those mistakes, because that's how I learn to become a better investor in the long run. And as investors, we all make mistakes. And it's good to make mistakes, because that's how we do become a better investor in the long run. And in my opinion, those shareholders who are taking part of these civil action proceedings against A2 Milk are just switching blame from themselves to A2 Milk, and they won't be able to learn from their mistakes of buying A2 Milk between August of last year and May of this year. And if they go back to their decision between that period and figure out why did they buy into A2 Milk when the share price was in a well-defined downtrend and the company was releasing downgrade after downgrade, maybe if they learn, try to understand why that could have been a mistake, they can and should become better investors in the long run. But instead, what they're doing is assigning blame from themselves to A2 Milk, and they won't be able to learn from their mistake of buying A2 Milk, probably a little bit too early from when they should have done, and that time might be right now. Now let's look at what happened on the 13th of October with A2 Milk's share price. This is the 5-minute chart over a 5-day period between the 7th and the 13th of October. Between the 7th and the end of closing on the 12th, nothing much was happening with A2 Milk's share price. In fact, it was slowly going down. This was just after they released that class action news on the 6th of October. Volume was quite light compared to what happened on the 13th. And then the start of trading on the 13th, we saw the share price break out in A2 Milk. Share price rose from $5.80 and opened around $6 on massive volume. That's really important, massive volume. When you coincide a potential breakout in the share price on massive volume, that's a much more powerful signal. And then we saw the share price rally during the rest of the trading day on the 13th. In fact, the share price closed at the high of the day, or near the high of the day, at $6.58. And the volume remained high during the whole day. This was a very bullish signal that the market did give us on the 13th of October. What caused A2 Milk share price to rally 13% in one day on significant volume? Whenever you see a share price breaking out on high volume, more than likely there's going to be some significant news flow from the company. But in A2 Milk's case, they released no announcements on the 13th of October. We have to look elsewhere. Fortunately, another company in the same sector as A2 Milk that do produce baby formula released their Appendix 4C a little bit earlier than forecast by me. And that Appendix 4C was absolutely stellar. In fact, when I read it, I was taken aback by how good it was. I think also the market was a bit surprised by how good it was because the share price rose 39% for this company. And that company is Bubs. We did see the share price of Bubs rally 14 cents or 39% from 36 cents to 50 cents on the back of the release of their Appendix 4C for the September quarter. And they did release their quarterly report a little bit earlier than I did anticipate. And more than likely, management did see the results and went, these are amazing. We have to get these results out to the market as soon as possible. And just like I was surprised by the results, the market was too. And we know the market was surprised because whenever you see the share price rise 39% on the back of any sort of financial results, that just tells you the market is surprised. And we have seen a bit of a flow-on effect from the Appendix 4C of Bubs to A2 Milk, and not only A2 Milk, also to Synlait Milk. I think their share price rose 7%. And that flow-on effect has continued onto the start of trading on the 14th of October. Share price of Bubs, last time I looked, was up another 10%. I won't talk much about Bubs Appendix 4C in this video because I do intend to do a standalone video on Bubs in the next few days, so look out for that. The one thing I will say about Bubs' quarterly report is just the recovery in their channels. In particular, the Daigou channel have recovered quite significantly in the past quarter. And that's the whole reason the market is getting excited about A2 Milk. Because the market is thinking if Bubs has seen a significant recovery in their channels, there is a good chance that A2 Milk has seen a similar recovery in the past quarter. It remains to be seen if that is true, but the market is getting excited about the possibilities that A2 Milk is recovering right now. And look how similar this 5-minute chart of Bubs is to the A2 Milk chart. Almost carbon copy in terms of share price movement during October 13th and the massive spike in volume. Not only is there a massive spike in volume for Bubs, it dwarfs what happened in the previous 4 trading days. You can just see the share price for Bubs between the 7th and 12th of October was just going sideways at about 36 to 37 cents. There was no interest in Bubs, and as soon as they released their Appendix 4C, massive interest, a massive spike on open. Share price opened around about 40 cents and just kept on climbing to 50 cents. And it also closed near the high of the day. So very similar looking chart for Bubs that we saw with A2 Milk. And we just know because they're in similar sectors that this is the reason why A2 Milk's share price rallied 13% on the 13th of October. And finally, too, the updated A2 Milk's daily chart from the start of this year, January 2021. And between January 2021 and about June this year, the share price of A2 Milk was in a well-defined downtrend. This includes that trading update that was released on the 10th of May, and that does possibly signify the end of the downtrend, the last of the real negative financial news from the company. Since the 10th of May, share price has gone sideways. We have seen on occasion share price rally, and it does look very interesting right now as the share price is moving towards the last 2 highs. If the share price can get above $7.50 in the next few weeks, that would be a very bullish sign moving forward for this company. What I'd like to see from A2 Milk is some positive financial news, just like Bubs has released. And if we do get that positive financial news, that could be the start of an uptrend for this company's share price. That is all I have for this A2 Milk video on the share price volatility between October 6 and 13. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about A2 Milk or any other company on the ASX, please leave it in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it. Have a good day. Bye.